Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock at Reserve Beef Clinic. Of course, if you need a roof, give us a shout 364-1007. Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, and ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. Okay, y'all. Hope your morning is off to a fantastic start. LSU baseball back at it today. They'll take on McNeese. I don't know, man. I think any opportunity to get out there to play well and try to get some good vibes going is beneficial for LSU. I know someone asked yesterday, uh, and I appreciate the question very much about how we always joke about midweek games here. And saying basically because LSU is where they are, is there more onus on midweek games now? And the answer in short is not really, because whatever you do, wherever you go this season, if you're able to make it, dig out of this hole, make it the postseason, it's going to have to be done on the weekends in conference play. Those are the RPI opportunities. Those are going to be the things the committee looks at, not necessarily overall record, but RPI and your conference record, quad one wins, road wins, all that sort of stuff. So, when I look at LSU, I think we looked at it yesterday. I think LSU's RPI was maybe mid 40s. It was they dropped from 34 to 46, maybe 46 from 34 to 46. So you're 3-5 on the road. You're 3-0 neutral, 15-7 at home right now. You're in a good, as weird as it is, but being 3-9 in the conference, to have an RPI of 46 is still really manageable. So, for example, Mississippi State is actually 3 spots below you, despite them being 21-12 overall. So you're both 21-12. Let's see. Campbell's 22-9 or 58. I'm looking for teams with a much better record that have a lower RPI. Wofford's 21-9. Their RPI is 84. Just as an example, there's Missouri. Missouri, which just swept Florida. So Missouri's a game better than you in the SEC, but they're 15-18 overall. They're 87th in the RPI. They went with their sweep over Florida, they went from 113 to 87. So I guess point is, you're still, all that to say, RPI wise, you're still in a good spot, but you got to make it happen on the weekend. So, but this is a good opportunity against McNeese to go out and to play well and, hopefully you get a win, get a little good vibe before you head up to Knoxville. This has been a pretty competitive series since I'm looking at it right here since 2016. LSU's just 4-3 in the last 7 in this series against McNeese. So, I think we all know about McNeese. Justin Hill, their head coach, was a pitcher at LSU. So, he has great love and history in the program. And I think everybody that's an LSU fan cheers for Justin Hill when they're not playing LSU. So, but this has been a competitive series. See if LSU can go get one. All right, we'll say some good mornings here. Fire away with whatever you got. Of course, UConn wins the basketball national championship. How about Jimmy Ott, man? It was very fitting. The Otter had his most, as he said it, his most profitable season ever handicapping college basketball. And it was appropriate that his the line in that game was 7.5. Otter gave out his Otter Locks an alternate line play on UConn. He said, don't play 7.5, play minus 11.5. And I'll be darned, he hit. So what a way to finish a great college basketball season for the Otter handicapping. And I mean, Purdue, congrats to Purdue. They were a great team this year, but UConn just proved why they were better than everybody. Incredible. Just incredible run in this tournament. Really incredible season for Purdue. All right, Trivia Carter, good morning. Brian Wynn, James McKinney, Bill Caffey, good morning. Jason H., morning. Did you go back and check? I didn't go back and check. Jason, my apologies, man. I didn't go check. I will. I promise. I promise. Maybe go on the text line and just give me a bump, just like text bump or something like that, so it goes back to the top. So I'll see it whenever we're done here. Brett Gidry, morning, Matt. When you speak to Shay again, can you ask him about the Corian Moore? Seems like he's a flip candidate. I will. I'll talk to Shay today. So Shay comes on the show on Tuesdays on AFR. So maybe you can shoot me a note, remind me to ask about the Corian Moore, but I sure will. Let's see. Kelly Gross, good morning. Jesse Brown, what up? Jason H, there we go. Shoe Gang, Team Drew. Brian Wind, does Kentucky go after Dan Hurley? So yesterday on AFR, we had Jeff Drummond on Cats Illustrated, does a really good job covering Kentucky. And he gave us the sort of short list. He said they're going to go make Dan Hurley and Jay Wright tell them no. So Dan Hurley, of course, at UConn. Jay Wright, the national championship winning coach from Villanova, who retired. Does he have any interest coming back into coaching? After that, the list he gave us included the oddly Rick Pitino. But there are some people in Kentucky who just still love Rick Pitino. He also mentioned Scott Drew is probably the most from Baylor as the most likely candidate to get the job. It was interesting because if you look at the odds, and not every sports book puts out coaching odds. Bet Online did. Scott Drew, the betting favorite to get the job. And Nate Oates with the second best odds. Richard Petit. Billy Donovan was the other one that he mentioned. Billy Donovan, who's with the Chicago Bulls right now. Maybe Billy Donovan, wants to get back into the college game, and if so, he was on the bench at Kentucky, so it was Billy Donovan, if I remember correctly, played for Pitino at Providence, coached under him at Kentucky, and then of course became a head coach, leading Florida to back-to-back national championships. So that's one I wouldn't rule out as well. Hey, Dad. Good morning. Still in Kansas. All right, Dad. Yeah, y'all are heading home Wednesday or Thursday? Wednesday. Heading home Wednesday. Right. Safe travels. Enjoy the time up there. Timothy Fontenot. Good morning. Josh Blackman. Coming down from Monroe today to watch the game for my son's birthday. Okay. Normally cheer for the Tigers. Tonight we'll be rooting for the Cowboys. It's my nephew plays for McNeese. Awesome, man. All right, Josh. We all enjoy the day, man. Safe drive. And I hope it's a great day, man. Look, it's one of those things where, we were doing the show last week at Smoothie King Center. And Graf came on the show and he's like, I know you're an LSU show. And I was like, we talk a lot of LSU, but I always cheer for the state schools, man. Like, I want everybody in Louisiana to do well. Like, I want all the state schools to do well. Let's see. How about the Cajun baseball team? 15 straight wins, ranked 19th. Good for them, man. Eric Hart, summer's going to be really long now because of baseball. Eric, I was talking to Mikey yesterday, Matuk, and I reminded him about 2011. And look, I get it for everybody who's a sports fan. You want LSU to play baseball as long as you can. But I always say, from a sports content standpoint, right, that if LSU baseball can get me deep into June, like, I'm set. Because usually, think about it, the College World Series is at the end of June, right? It wraps up now at the end of June. And then you have the afterglow of the championship like last year. Usually I'll take a week off in one of those first 2 weeks of July. And then, and even if I don't, it's really 2 weeks before we go to SEC Media Days. And then you come home from Media Days and the Saints report for camp. And then the next week LSU reports for camp. And then you're in it. So I count on LSU baseball from a content standpoint to get me deep into June. So I was talking to Mikey, and that team in 2011 missed the SEC tournament. So their season ended the week before Memorial Day. Like that third week in May is when their season ended. And it was like, oh man, what saved us that summer? The NFL had their lockout, if you remember. That's when they ultimately agreed to the new CBA, but that the NFL had a lockout, which was a huge story. Also that summer, if I'm not mistaken, well, a couple of things happened. um, you had all the realignment, uh, the seismic realignment stories, right? That was when that summer was ultimately when we learned Missouri and Texas A&M were coming to this. They didn't come till 2012, but that summer is when all that happened. The possibility of Texas and like all the Big 12 going to the Pac-12, or Texas and Oklahoma going to the Pac-12 was a storyline that summer as well. And if I'm also not mistaken, I think that was when Trent Johnson left for TCU and LSU hired Johnny Jones. So um, there ended up being a lot of storylines um, that that summer. But LSU baseball being bounced in May, not making postseason, all was brutal. So yes, a long way of saying of commenting, Eric. But yes, it's a very long summer for everybody if LSU baseball doesn't play, deep into June, but especially for sports talk radio hosts. Brett DeGrow, good morning. Hunter Broadhead, good morning. Matt Plavidal, good morning. Schedule called off. I got sent to Mandeville, made 11 hours, easy money. There you go, bro. That's what I'm talking about, man. You gotta look at that. You gotta look at the positive side of it, Matt. Positive side is 11 hours. It's a heck of a day, bro. The paycheck's gonna be nice. Shane and good morning. John Hendricks, what's up? Jeff McKiffin, Spurge, good morning. Hey, y'all, do me a favor if you're on YouTube, take a quick second, smash the like button, subscribe up to the channel. If you're there on Facebook, please like the Matt Moscone page, share the post. We appreciate you. Eric Waterwater, morning, Scone. Can you help set a money line for a friendly wager? What happens first? LSU gets run ruled again, or LSU wins a weekend? I think it's more likely that they get run ruled. Tennessee is probably. Well, let me check. I think Tennessee is the best offense in the SEC. Let's see. Stats. Load. I hate the SEC's new website. The SEC, whoever designed this, like, shame on you. Atrocious job. Why change a good thing? Your template's awful. All right, let's see. Yeah, Tennessee is leading the SEC by a wide margin, as a matter of fact. So Tennessee as a team is hitting 336. Georgia is second at 313. They're a full 20 points ahead of the second best offensive team in the league. So yes, Tennessee, really good offense. LSU pitching, not so hot. More likely that that Tennessee run rules LSU, then LSU wins the weekend. Yes. Hey, Dad. Good morning. Let's see. Aiden and Laurel say good morning. Good morning, y'all. Hope y'all are having a great day. Have a good day at school. That's my niece and nephew, and Aiden's my godchild. So hope y'all have a great, great day at school. I love you both very much. Bubba Smith, good morning. Ryan Brock, so you purchasing a steak for Otter at Doe's today? I think I need to go pay the Otter a visit. I think I do. He was he was so when Jimmy was on Otter Locks yesterday, he told I said, man, if this hits, I might have to come buy you a steak at Doe's. But I think I owe him a tip, certainly for all the plays this basketball season. Y'all hang on one second. I need to go stop Drew's backpack. I think he's awake too. So talk amongst yourselves. I'd love to play this, this song for you. But no. But you always said like this didn't play well. Anyway, I'll play. Hey, go tell everybody good morning. You tell everybody good morning?
Yeah.
You want to sit in the chair? You want to sit Daddy's lap?
Daddy's lap.
Daddy's lap. Okay. All right.
Where's she? Where? She's the.
You want to say hi?
Hi, Dad, Joe.
Oh, that was so sweet. Oh my God. His port for his feeding tube is leaking like crazy now. I have no idea. Just every time we feed him, he's just soaking wet. So we're gonna have to change it. Well, we're gonna get you dressed anyway. Okay. All right.
Go this way.
Okay. Okay, we'll see you later. Okay. It's driving me crazy now. What's going on with that port? He ends up just soaking wet like every time he gets a backpack feed now. Rocky Killing, Matt here. PJ Woodland's drawn comparisons to Greedy Williams in spring practice. Encouraging news. Well, hope the later Greedy redshirted as a freshman, you might recall, and then was only thrust into action in the opener against BYU in 2017 because that was when Fulton got suspended and somebody else was hurt. I forgot how. I don't remember now, but that was O's first game as permanent head coach when they beat. Well, I guess his first game as permanent head coach was the bowl game, but but in the season was 2017 BYU game. But that's when Greedy started, and then he went on. He had an interception that game. Like he had an interception like the first 3 games, and then was an All-American and never gave up his job. I can think about that as a comp. But it really just looks like that's the kind of corners that Corey always recruited, like the sort of long rangey guys. It's funny because if you look at that cornerback unit now, they're so small relatively, right? And it just doesn't look like any of the guys that Corey inherited were guys that he would have recruited. It's not to say none of them can play, like not great returns last year, but when you look at that room, it's just not, it doesn't look like it used to, like physically. But you look at a guy like Woodland and you're like, oh, okay. There you have the 6'2", long arms, lean, can run, that sort of stuff. And so you could tell that's probably why it stands out. I would say Rocky is, he's a guy that probably looks more like a guy Corey Raymond would recruit. Pat Usman, good morning. You taking any long shot plays in the Masters? Probably, Pat, but I would recommend listen to Jimmy's show because they'll give out consensus plays. So when he has all the handicappers on, they'll all give their plays for the Masters, and you'll usually run across some consensus plays. And so if there's 4 or 5 that all the handicappers are saying take, then you split your bet evenly among those, and usually with the odds you'll make money. So that's my recommendation. Ethan Davidson, morning, Matt. If LSU gets swept by Tennessee, because that's the vibes I'm feeling for this weekend, is there any way for LSU to pull themselves out of it? Because it feels like this team can't do it. Well, anyway, sure. And it's the reason we've talked about a million times. They do have talent and the schedule lightens up in the second half. I mean, that's not like it's a new narrative. We've been literally talking about that since before the season. Like the first half was going to be much tougher than the second half. Just keep your head above water and then go on a run in the second half. I don't think any of us, however, thought they'd be 3-9 through 4 weekends without having won a weekend. So that's a problem, right? So they've dug themselves a deep hole. Here's the good news is if the SEC tournament started today, you'd still be in. So, even and you get to play Missouri, which was the worst team in the conference until they just swept Florida. So, anyway, and look, and there's another reason for optimism. Missouri's the worst team in the league, just swept Florida. So, yeah, can you? Sure, they can. They just got to figure out how to close games, man. It would be one thing if they were just getting annihilated. I know some of you just mentioned, hey, they've been run ruled, which they have on Sundays or game threes. But man, think about all the games where they were right there. Like LSU had a chance to win all 3 games against Arkansas on the road against the number 1 team in the country, and you had a chance to win all 3 of those games, and you couldn't finish any of them. You know, the game 2 against Florida, which we've talked about ad nauseum now, where you led that and you gave it up, in the 8th and the 9th. Mentioned you could have won all 3 games. Not saying you would have swept, but you could have won any of the 3 games against Arkansas. You were right there in all of them. And the Friday game where you lost it, in extras 4-3. Vandy, obviously we've talked about game 2 and how you let that one get away. Just those 3. Just the 3 game 2s, if you flip those, you're 6-6 right now. And how dramatically different does your season feel? Now, you can't flip those. You lost them. It's what it is. But the point is you were close in all those. It'd be one thing if you're just getting routed in every game. So they can figure out a way to win close games late. Yeah, they can turn it around because the schedule is going to allow them to do it. But that's easier said than done. Couple more minutes here. Brent St. Germain, good morning. Deborah Coward, what's going on? Timothy Fontenot, heartbreaker for Lady Tigers in Florida. Earl, good morning. Is this a must-win weekend at Tennessee? Earl, I never use the term must-win until it's a literal must-win. Like if you don't win, your season's over. If you don't win, you're eliminated from contention, sort of thing. So I always hesitate to say must-win because we would have said the same thing back in 2008, and then they won 23 in a row and were a national seed. I don't think this team is going to do that. Don't misunderstand. But I think you start to look at, okay, what is the target to get into regionals? And it's probably 14 league wins. It was your baseline target. So if you get to 14, that means you need 11 the rest of the way. You need 11, and you've got 6 series remaining. If you don't win this weekend, then you're going to have to sweep somewhere along the way and win all the other series. So I'm not going to say it's a must win, but it's really important that you don't get swept, that you at least get a game this weekend. Bailey C., girlfriend's dad said 2020 Bama's 2019 LSU. Your girlfriend's dad's an idiot. Do you realize they played that entire season without a single fan in the stands anywhere? What a total pass that you didn't have to go in a true road environment anywhere. Tell your girlfriend's daddy's a moron. Guy Lejeune, do we need to get a running back in the transfer portal? I'm sorry, Gary. I don't think so, Gary. If you get Trey Holly back, which it seems like they will, I think 4 scholarship backs is enough. Matt, did I hear that correct? Missouri swept Florida. They did. If so, this is why the second half of the season isn't a given if LSU gets going. Yes, Missouri swept Florida in Columbia this past weekend, which also, yes, it means there are opportunities. It's baseball. Of course, there's opportunities. But also, Matt, you go to Columbia, and you can look at it and say, well, that's no longer a given either, because we thought that would be a sure series win for LSU. Douglas Duhan, can you get the whole Tiger baseball team on AFR to get the AFR mojo going? I think I need to get Alelo back on to pray. Maybe we'll do that today. Irfan Sayad Gamogan, Robert Potts. Good morning, Matt. How would you describe the difference between AFR and your LSU Sports Daily podcast? There isn't a difference. I take the clips from AFR that are my LSU clips, and I put them in podcast form on LSU Daily. Like, that's the podcast. Now, there's sometimes, like over the weekend, I might record an episode that's just all original content. But like, if you listen to today's episode of LSU Daily, it's my segment on Trey Holly and the running backs from yesterday, and my interview with Mikey Buntick. Eric Hart, who can you talk to on AFR to get MLB draft odds for William Schmidt for Catholic High? LSU could use that stud next year. Eric, I don't know that there's like odds on that. But like scouts would tell you where he's going to go, and he's a top half of round 1 guy. Like, he's trending toward being a top 10 pick. It's really just a matter of does he want to come to school and play at LSU, which has always kind of been a dream. But if someone's going to cut him a check for $5 or $6 million, it's really hard to pass on that. So, it's going to be that decision. Really, it's just, kid, you're going to have an opportunity to be an instant multimillionaire. Do you want that, or do you want to go play college baseball at LSU, trying to win a championship in your hometown? And only he can answer that. Wendell Norman, good morning. Here's all the Drew comments. Love it. The real, I was supposed to be the real star of the show. Let's see, Brett, Matt, what's your text line so I can send a reminder? Yeah, so it's in my Twitter bio and everything, but it's 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. The Drew Show with Matt vamping until his arrival. It's good. Okay, I gotta go. It's 8:00. Thanks so much for watching. Y'all have an awesome day. LSU Daily is live. So on your favorite podcast app, just search LSU Daily. And then AFR 3. Peace.